Number 1. My mom took this photo and sent it to me, thinking it was weird that the string was floating, but never noticed the figure in the back. 3 months after sending me this, she calls me scared out of her mind and told me to look in the back, and it genuinely hurts my head. She was home alone. I was on the phone with her when she took the photo too. The first image is the original. The second is an enhanced version. We recognize her as my past aunt. You can even barely make out a Winnie the Pooh on the right of her chest. Number 2. I was about 4 or 5 years old, and my parents had just separated. My mom was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had my own room, but I preferred to sleep in her bed whenever I was staying with her. Our 2 bedrooms were at the end of a hallway, directly across from each other. Our apartment was on the first floor, and I remember that it was in the middle of the summer, and my mom had a window open in her room, which was directly behind the bed, above the headboard. Anyways, I woke up in the middle of the night and remember sitting up and seeing that our cat was sitting in the doorframe of my mom's room. Her door was open, and you could partially see into my bedroom. This was strange, because our cat was typically always in bed with us. As I was watching him, he walked into my bedroom and meowed. I turned to face my mom and wake her up. In the 3/4 seconds it took her to wake up and ask me what was wrong. We both looked back up in the doorframe, and there was a man standing by my open door, making his way out of my bedroom. I still don't know how she managed to do it so quickly, but my mother proceeded to pick me up and literally throw me out of the screen window. Again, we were on the first floor, and it was maybe a 3-foot drop to the ground. She quickly followed, and we were able to start screaming for help, and someone called 911. The police came but didn't see any signs of forced entry, only that our front door was unlocked, which led them to believe the man must have exited that way. The strange thing was that my mom swore up and down that she had locked the door that night, with the deadbolt and chain lock. About a week later, she was cleaning the kitchen and opened up our water heater closet and found a notebook with names and drawings, as well as a pair of gloves and some gum wrappers. The police were called again, but all they could do was speculate that the man had been in our house and hid until we were asleep. Edit. Just to clarify, our apartment was on the ground level, so my mother didn't hurl me into potential paralysis, just a 3-ish foot drop to grass. Number 3. The murder of Cassandra Cantrell. My ex-friend killed her. He had the D&D group move our stuff for the week so he could set up the kill room, not once, but twice. When asked about the second time, he said, "I didn't clean because someone didn't come over." The next time we saw him, he was tired from all the cleaning. Then the cops swatted him with a search warrant. A month later, they found her remains thanks to the GPS on his truck. He is now serving 24 years, 20 left. The day he dumped her remains over a hill/cliff, he later posted a pic on his Facebook of the Grim Reaper stating, "Oh my wa mo shinderu," which means, "You are already dead." The other crimes listed in the thread are brutal. This one sticks with me because I knew the murderer and happened to be in the basement twice after the fact that it happened, without knowing what happened. Number 4. Me and my girlfriend went dispersed camping in Flagstaff and had a really weird experience. Hi all. Me and my girlfriend decided to head up to Marshall Lake in Flagstaff, Arizona, to do some dispersed camping. It was beautiful during the day, but the moment the sun went down, we decided to put the fire out and head to the tent, since it was so cold outside. The moment the sun went all the way down, we were laying in our tent and getting ready to get some sleep, even though it was early. Keep in mind we were in the middle of nowhere, with no one nearby, probably 1.5 miles from the closest tent we saw. 30 minutes into laying down, me and my girlfriend heard 2 very distinct footsteps right behind our tent. We didn't hear anything walk up, and it was so close we grabbed our bear spray and decided to poke my head out the tent to see if anything was nearby. Absolutely nothing. We go back to our sleeping bags pretty spooked, and then 15 minutes later, we heard it again, and we decided we didn't feel safe and left. We hiked out of the woods and got a motel. Are there skinwalkers out here? Because we saw no animal tracks behind our tent, and we know for certain I heard footsteps around our tent. Edit. This happened tonight, and it was a full, very bright moon. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know anything about skinwalkers, and didn't even begin to believe in them. Until now, Edit 2. We heard someone unloading shots at something at 1.2 during the night. We believe it was from the campers, 1.5 miles away, at the head of the trail. I thought it was odd that someone shot one magazine and didn't shoot anymore. But as we hiked back out about an hour later, they also packed their camp and left as well. Final update. We safely got all of our gear and got out of there and home safely. Please everyone be safe camping or hiking around Flagstaff. Number 5. About 2 years ago, I was driving home from a family reunion pretty late at night, and the drive was about 2 hours. I didn't stay the night because I had to be back for work the following day. Most of the drive was on roads with dense bushes and trees on either side, the real creepy ones you see a lot in movies. Anyway, I had been driving about 45 minutes, and I was starting to get really tired. You know how sometimes you just suddenly become really tired out of nowhere? Well, yeah, that happened to me. I knew I wasn't going to last, but I didn't come across any place that I felt I could park and safely sleep. Anyway, after it became clear to me that I wasn't going to find a place to pull up and my tiredness wasn't going away, I did something very questionable. I pulled over to the side of the road onto the grass, behind some bushes, to try and hide my car from anybody else who was going to come past. The roads weren't empty. I came across another car every few minutes or so. I made a mental note that the time was 11:22 and then fell asleep. Sometime later, I was awoken by a scratching sound. I looked at the clock. 11:50. The sound stopped after a few seconds, and because I was still extremely tired, I didn't bother looking around and simply went back to sleep. I was later awoken by the same sound, and it was now 12:40. This time, it really freaked me out, because the sound didn't stop. The thought ran across my mind that it was just an animal inspecting the car, but why would it return almost an hour after it had left the previous time? I looked in my rearview mirror and just managed to catch a glimpse of something running away into the forest. Now, at the time, I thought it was the damn hook killer. You know, the one that scratched that couple's car and then slaughtered the guy when he got out to investigate? Fuck that, I thought to myself, so I got the hell out of there. There was a bend no more than 100 yards up the road, and as I came around it, there was a fucking car, parked off to the side of the road with the driver's side door opened. I slowed down just to look to see if anyone was in there. There wasn't. Then I looked in my rearview mirror. I didn't see anything, and all of a sudden, this guy comes sprinting around the corner. He starts screaming at me, shouting stuff like, "Hey! Hey you! Get the fuck out of your car! Now!" I noped the fuck out of there and sped off. I never saw the guy again. Number 6. A few years ago, I was walking through the woods off the beaten track a bit, and I smelt this really overpowering sweet smell. Being nosy, I pulled back the undergrowth to have a look and found a dead body. The guy had clearly been there a while and wasn't looking great, all swollen and green and black with various runny bits. The local wildlife had also been dining well for a few days. I called the police, who told me to wait with the body until they arrived. Being in the middle of nowhere, it took a while for them to arrive, and it got dark, and I was just sat there in the dark with him for a long time. It turned out he had committed suicide. For a long time afterwards, I had dreams about him, and he would talk to me, and not nice things, mainly about how he was angry I had disturbed his resting place, and he wanted me to kill myself. Probably just my imagination, but all pretty disturbing at the time. He still turns up in my dreams from time to time, and no doubt will be tonight after typing this. Number 7. My mother told me this not too long ago, but it happened about 10 years ago now. When my cousin was 17/18 years old, she was in a car crash and had died a couple of weeks later in hospital. She was really close to my dad's sister, our aunt, and used to babysit her kids, who were no more older than 4 years old, all the time. Our aunt's house was under construction just before she passed away, and it continued on after she passed away. One day, my aunt got a phone call while she was at work from one of the construction workers complaining about a teenage girl who keeps showing up at the house and walking around, and that she shows up a number of times during the weeks, and it has been happening for a couple of weeks. My aunt asked for a description of the girl to see if she knows her from around the neighborhood. And sure enough, the description perfectly matches my cousin who died a few weeks before. Long brown hair, red baseball cap, denim dungarees, and a white jacket. When my aunt got home, she showed them a picture of my cousin, and that all agreed that it was the girl they seen walking around the site. This story really freaked me out when I heard it, because our family was never one to believe in anything paranormal or have anything of the paranormal sort happen to them before.